It wasn't an easy decision.
Yeah.
But it was also good for the family aspect of it, the mental, because the moment you start you bring work into your family, into your home, to some degree, what you're doing is you're adding added pressure on not just yourself, but you're adding pressure on your kids, you're adding pressure to your wife, and the environment becomes pressurized.
Yeah.
And once it gets that, then there's a lot of tension. Yeah. So it was a decision that had to be made. And bearing in mind as well, you have to make calculated risk. It was a risk that, okay, yes, if I resign, I have this notice period. And within that notice period, I need to make sure I secure something. It might not be at that particular level, but at least something that ticks you going and then makes you pay. You have to look at the financial aspect of it.
How did you manage that? Were you able to find something within the notice period?
So just slightly after,
right?
But it wasn't something of the same level,
right.
Which was actually good, because then you become yourself again. It wasn't of the same level.
Yeah.
The pay was, let's talk about the pay. I know a lot of you want to guess the pay, but in terms of the responsibility aspect of it, it wasn't as much as that. But the pay was still within the same bandwidth, I would say. The other thing that it required was extra additional traveling time as well, which is something that one of the things you have to do. But mentally, for your mental health and mental state of mind, and also for your family's mental health and mental state of mind, and you enjoy the benefit of it once you manage your time and you manage your work, your work balance, work-life balance. You enjoy the benefit of it, because you come home, you're relaxed and refreshed to go the following day to work. And this is just Monday to Friday. Then I could find myself weekends as well on the laptop and stuff like that. So,
I mean, for sure. That is super powerful. Super powerful. You mentioned that you had to basically quit your job.
Yeah.
Right? So what was it that got you to that point to say, you know what, it's not worth it? I need to find something else that would help me sort of better balance my life, work life, and also my family life. And one tip that you did say that I'm going to forever take with me, that I hope people take with them, is if you don't absolutely need a work phone, don't take it.
No,
because it's almost like a trap, right?
Yeah,
they can call you at any time on the work phone, and you find yourself just working.
If you can avoid laptop, just use desktop. If you can. So going back to your question again, because I noticed I was losing control of my time, because work was eating into the family time. It was eating into, your church time. It was into, your ministerial time. It was just creeping in slowly. And before you know it, you lose track of time. So, and it got to a point whereby there wasn't that time anymore, and the time wasn't sufficient. So that was the moment of realization. And then you go, and then you feel that you feel it even yourself mentally, that you get to a point that you just cannot stop.
Yeah.
You cannot stop. Once you're sleeping as well, some of you might, you might probably resonate. Once you sleep, you're thinking about work. Even when you're relaxed, when you're supposed to relax your mental health and your mental state of mind, you're just thinking about it, thinking about your decisions, questioning your decisions and things like that. And at that moment, yes, it's becoming unhealthy for you, especially if you cannot control time, and time is just limited.
I was there a few years ago where I was literally working 24 hours. So, because one thing I would tell you not to do, never use this work laptop, your personal laptop, as a work laptop.
No.
Very bad idea. Because what tends to happen is, even when I'm doing personal things, maybe booking holiday for my family, a ping comes in from work on that same laptop. And then I find myself drifting into work and doing work.
Because you just cannot ignore it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because your brain is telling you need to respond. What if it's urgent? What if it's important?
Yeah. So what I'm getting from that, from what you've been saying is, number one, we need to be intentional.
Yes.
Number two, we need to be reflective.
Yeah.
But also, it's just as important to set boundaries.
Yes.
Like, set physical boundaries. So boundaries like, no, I'm not taking a phone.
Yeah.
No, I'm not using my personal laptop for work. Or maybe, actually, I would rather use a desktop than taking a work laptop home. Yeah. So being vocal enough to set those boundaries.
Yeah. And knowing when to walk away as well, because sometimes you just need to walk away, because that's for your own good. If it's something, if it gets to a point whereby, you can manage, but it's getting to a point whereby you feel like you're starting to burn out. Know when to just stop and walk away.
Yeah. And maybe another thing to add to that is, and I got it from what you were saying before, was setting expectations.
Yes.
So a lot of times when you go to interviews with a job, so we're tackling work because that takes the bulk of the time. It's good to just set expectations. Like, when they say introduce yourself, and a lot of people just talk about their professional life, and these are the things that I've achieved, which are great things, right? But, let them also know that you're a family man.
Yes.
Say, I'm a husband to a wife. I have 2 children, so that they can set the expectation that you're not going to be like, yeah, you're going to be great at your work. Of course, that's what, we are expected to do. Yeah. But I also do have a family that I have to sort of prioritize as well. Yeah. So it's important to maybe, that's a tip for people to introduce this and let people know that you have other priorities too.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if you're looking for a job, one thing you need to consider is work-life balance.
Yeah.
Understand the culture of the place you're going to. If the culture does not permit you to, does not respect your family time, I think it's a wrong place to work. Yeah. I think it's the wrong job as well. I think there's a lot of emphasis on mental health now, which is good, creating that awareness. So, like you said, I do wear my ring anytime I go for an interview. It's just so they know, yes, I'm committed. I might not necessarily go into details in terms of, married with kids. I might not necessarily, but sometimes they do ask the question. We've noticed you moved in a few roles, and tell them, for family reasons, to be closer to family. And I know some people who haven't got a family. I know the platform is more for the dads, and for people who are thinking of, becoming a dad, etc. I think it's just something to consider. Right now, once you're single, you can think, yes, you can manage. But trust me, when the wife, the missus comes in, the child comes in.
Oh my! So, when I was still a bachelor, I'd say I was unfailingly going to the gym 6 days a week.
Yes,
maybe too much, but 6 days a week, and I would spend about 1.5 hours to 2 hours at the gym, almost religiously every single day. I got married. That dropped to maybe 3 days a week. And I would go to the gym for 1 hour. The children came into the picture, and I was 0 time for the gym. Now I'm over here trying to find workouts to do at home. That's how much time they take, and which is why it's very important for us to be able to be intentional, set boundaries, and reflect on our life and situation,
and know when to just take a break, take a stop, and walk away. The one thing I would say as well is some situations are different. There are some people whereby they haven't got that. They don't work, for example. Some people, they don't have kids. Some people, and it's different because the distribution or allocation of time might be slightly different because based on your scenario or your situation. But where your situation is a bit different, where you're on the extreme side of it with work demand, with ministerial demand, family demand, etc. This is where you have to make sure you allocate and make sure the time allocation is correct, and understanding and setting those goals and boundaries, and making sure, yes, you know when to just pull the plug